Is it pretty hot there, buddy? Oh, some strong dog breath. Woo! Oh my gosh. Maybe go drink some water. Hi everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Magic Monday with Faye. I'm in the living room because the sunroom is well, it's super sunny and it's just really hot. Um, I'm gonna try to catch it on film, but Grimby does this funny thing where he acts like a cat. He does many funny things, and he acts like a cat a lot of the time. But he'll lay in the windowsill behind the couch, which is not really big enough for a dog. It's like a normal it's not especially big windowsill. It's a normal sized windowsill. So he lays there and it's right in the sun and he gets really hot and then he has to get down and collapse to cool off. And so he's just done the collapse. But he came over first and breathed on me and it was very stinky. That's what we call stinky in this house, stinky. Um, Hello. Oh, let me get comfortable. Okay. How are you? How is everyone? How was your weekend? Tell me about your weekend. I can tell you about mine. Adam is away for the weekend. He and his brother took their mom to wine country in the Okanagan, in the sort of south central British Columbia, because today is her birthday. So they whisked her away for a surprise birthday of weekend away of wine tastings and quality um, mother-son time. So I think they've been having the time of their lives, which is great. And I've had the weekend to myself, which is also kind of lovely. Both Adam and I will admit that um, whenever the other person is away for like any amount of time, there's kind of like we kind of love it. You know, like you get to have your own space, you keep your own schedule, you're not bumping into anyone. And we both love it, and we both will admit to loving it for like the first, I mean, it depends how long the trip is, but like how long they're gone, but the first little bit while they're away, you're just like reveling in like sleeping diagonally or like, not having to share the bathroom sink. And then after, I'm trying to do the math in my head, like after a couple days, we start to be like, well, I kind of miss them. So anyway, kind of at that place. And then what's funny is that when it's close to them coming back, like so Adam will be home later this evening and it's like, oh good, he'll be home. And then I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna run out of all my special solo me time. Can you guys relate? Does anybody else have that kind of like I know lots of moms. I probably know lots of dads too, but I feel like I mostly hear this conversation from moms where when they go away, they kind of have that sense with their kids where they're just like so relieved to get away, but then they end up starting to miss them a bit. And then when it's over, they're like kind of wish they're glad that it's all back, and then they kind of wish that they had their solitude again. Can you relate? Is that you? What do you do differently when you have the house to yourself? Tell me. So for me, um, this weekend was a little bit odd because literally this like within 5 minutes Adam was supposed to leave to go drive his mom to the ferry and get to Vancouver where they would meet Adam's brother. I needed to leave for an appointment, so I jumped into my car. As soon as I drove out of my garage, I knew something was wrong. And so I got out to the end of the driveway and just immediately pulled over onto the street and parked. And I have a completely and totally flat tire, like flat. And I remembered I don't, it must have been the day before, I can't remember, the day before, a few days before, I had been driving and they're doing work on every section of every highway at the same time right now. It is unreal the amount of road work that is going on. And I drove over something that I didn't see, but it made like a loud like noise and it felt like driving over like a coffee cup or something like that. Couldn't see what it was. And the car seemed to be driving fine. So when I got to my sister's, I got out and looked, and the tires all looked fine. So I assumed it was okay. And then when I drove home that night, I got home and I checked my tires. They all seemed fine. So I assumed it was okay. And clearly it wasn't fine because I had a massive flat tire. And it destroyed whatever it was, it actually destroyed the tire. So Here's the best part. So I'm trying to leave to get downtown to an appointment that I need to be at, and Adam's leaving to catch the ferry, and Adam's not like the best at pivoting in the moment like that. So there would have been a way that this could have worked out, and I could have just used our other car, because then then I wouldn't have been stranded all weekend. But the long and short of it is, I was stranded all weekend, and yeah, it was just a giant pain in the butt. Giant, expensive pain in the butt. I still don't have the car back because of many ridiculous things. Um, I had like locking lug nuts. It's just fun to say, lug nuts. I feel like that's something you would call someone. You're being a lug nut. Anyway, they couldn't find the key for the lug nuts. No one could find the key. They had to break them off. The tires are not regularly stocked. They had to order them. It's just been a whole thing. So I've had no car, which meant I was very much at home for the weekend on my own. And it was not a bad thing. I actually quite enjoyed the downtime and the spaciousness. Now, it did mean that there were a bunch of things that I was going to do this weekend that didn't get done, like stuff that required a vehicle for me to drive somewhere and do something. But theoretically, that meant that I had all this extra time to do all these other things on my to-do list, right? Did they get done? No. Did a bunch of things get done that were not on any particular list or like maybe a longer term list? Yeah, I did some of those things. So I'm not going to throw myself completely under the bus. But what I want to talk about is the idea of laziness, because it's just such a prevalent term in our world, I find. So tell me in the comments if you're following along, tell me if, like, what is laziness something that you worry about? Is laziness like a quality that you judge yourself for having? In general, I don't know too many people who aren't cats who are pleased with their laziness. Uh, and so it's definitely a thing that I struggle with a lot. Um, and always kind of have. I'm a person who doesn't have a particularly strong like linear relationship with time, and that tends to mean things happen in a strange amount of time or things take me longer. That's not always the case. Sometimes they're faster, but in general, I can often feel like I'm lazy because I don't get through. Oh, that's the other thing. I'll feel like I'm lazy because I didn't get through everything on my list. My list is completely unrealistic for a human being. Like it's not at all based in what would be feasible for an extremely productive human who doesn't ever get distracted. It would that the list would be unrealistic for that person, and I am not that person. And so what happens is, one, I set myself up with these lists of things to do, these expectations that are completely unrealistic. Then I probably don't create enough structure to make sure I do the thing, right? To make sure I show up to the thing and accomplish it. And then I beat myself up for being lazy. And then here's the trick side, right? So one, I'm doing stuff all the time. I'm getting things done, but it's never enough because the list is, first of all, bottomless. If you're alive, your list of things that need to be done is probably never ending. This is a good sign because you're alive. You're still here, so it means that you've got time to be working on things, but it can also mean that the the list just grows and grows and grows. And so that part of it is about examining our relationship to it, our relationship to our expectations and the reality of how it goes. Hey, Brian. Oh, I super enjoy doing nothing. Um, you know what? I'm going to look up the definition of laziness right now. Let's find out what does the old what's a thesaurus? Oxford Dictionary say? Laziness. The quality of being unwilling to work or use energy, idleness. Okay, let's look up just lazy. Unwilling to work or use energy, characterized by a lack of effort or activity, showing a lack of care, slow moving. So, no, there's the languid, having or showing a disinclination for physical exertion or effort, I'm not seeing it, right? I'm not seeing it. Um, and then if you look in the thesaurus, this is where it starts to get interesting. It's an obviously lazy is an adjective, and other words are idle, indolent, slothful, work shy, shiftless, loafing, inactive, inert, sluggish. There's a lot. There's a huge list. Lethargic, listless, torpid, enervated, slow moving, slow, heavy, dull, plodding, negligent, slack, lax, lackadaisical. That's just a great word. Lackadaisical. There should be more words like lackadaisical. Um, Impassive, good for nothing, do nothing, leisurely. So isn't this interesting? Because so then the term leisurely is lumped in with all these shitty negative words. Uh, so not super awesome. But I am going to say, Brian, I don't think that doing nothing is the same as laziness because laziness from the definition sounds like it involves um, like the preference or choice or um, resistance to doing something. And you do lots of things, right? But what it shows me is that in our society, we don't really have great words or concepts of um, ways of being that aren't super productive all the time. Efficient, effective, go, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle. And so to me, what I think is it starts super young, and I think it starts fairly honestly because your parents probably hands up. If you're hands up, everyone, you can just put a hand in the chat. Uh, if you if your parents ever accused you of being lazy, guess what? Your parents' hands are also up, and so are their parents' hands. This has been going on for all of time. And here's the reality. If what your parents want you to do is go muck out stalls, nobody's like, huzzah, I'm so glad you've asked. I was just sitting here leisurely whiling the afternoon away, and I was hoping that someone would give me some manual labor with stinky shit. No, no one's gonna jump for joy with that. That's weird. That'd be weird, right? And so what happens is that there's been morality attached to these kinds of things. And so obviously it's kind of like there's a time and a place for everything. So when things need to be done, as you're saying, if something needs to be done, you'll do it. Same with me. Things that need to be done get done. They don't not get done. But it's not fair then to say that any moment that you're not doing something is a moment where you're lazy. Unless you've got a definition of lazy that is empowering. It's so funny. We talk about like a lazy river, like a meandering stream would be a lazy river, or you pay extra money to go to a resort that has a lazy river. Those pools that are literally shaped like a river and they have a current, and you could just float along them. We pay money to go be in a lazy river. So when it comes to a river, we're not going to complain. We're going to, in fact, pay money to be in it. But when it comes to ourselves or people where we have expectations, we apply the label of laziness. And then we apply it without discernment, right? So enjoying doing nothing, leisurely enjoying an afternoon, spending time just being, I think that's probably an art form. I think we could probably all use to do with using a lot more of that. We could all use more downtime. Ironically, we think that technology makes our lives so much easier. No. In some ways, some things are easier or perhaps more available, but it's statistically invalid. In fact, if you go back, a couple hundred years, um, our ancestors, so let's say they were farmers or ranchers or something like that, they actually experienced more leisure time than we do. To be fair, I studied this in my undergrad. Leisure and like work time is a heavily studied topic in anthropology because there's a lot of evidence of people, doing things. And sustaining life requires that we take action. Oh my God, yes, Brian, get a t-shirt made. I'm gonna have a lazy day. I'm a man of leisure today. Today is my leisure time. I'm going to enjoy this like I enjoy a lazy river. Something wonderful. Make it wonderful. Because what happened was way back when all of this morality and judgment got put on, I don't know, what's there's like the story of the country mouse and the city mouse didn't do, is this a thing? I might be mixing up small animal stories, but I think it's a thing. And the city mouse didn't do any work and then he had no food. And the country mouse worked and had food. And so it's easy to see the um, the moral of the story, right? Being productive, being efficient, working really hard is good. Being lazy and shirking duties is bad. But but a lot of the times, like what we're talking about, isn't us shirking duties because we are going to do what needs to be done. If it needs to be done, we'll do it. When really are you like, there's things I need to do and I haven't done it, right? This is kind of like the way that we relate to a lot of what happens in our lives as urgent or emergencies. Very, very few things actually are urgent or emergency. Very few, almost none, thank goodness. But we live in a constant heightened state. So we've got like cortisol jumps and spikes, and then we add to it with social media and email and task lists and things to do, and we wonder why we're exhausted all the time. It's very costly to your central nervous system to be running on holy cow, my words are just failing me today. Uh, on stress hormones, right? So you have these spiked levels in your body, and it's not good for you. And it's exhausting. It's the equivalent of like burning rocket fuel for like a leisurely jaunt. You wouldn't do it. It's the wrong fuel. It burns hot and fast, and it leaves you depleted. And so that's what happens when we are running on um, cortisol and all of these stress. There's a word I'm looking for. I can't think of it. I'm gonna distract myself with this for like 2 more seconds. Whatever it is, right? So we hype ourselves up with stress, and then we're literally running on fumes, and then we're exhausted. And because likely in our structure and our plans and all the expectations and the lists of things we had to do that were completely unreasonable to begin with, right? Like general wisdom says, like you could probably do 3 to 6 things in a day. Now, all of us do more than 3 to 6 things because obviously it depends on what kinds of things. Like, did you brush your teeth and put on underwear and uh, drink something this morning? Yes, there's 3 things. Those aren't the 3 things I'm talking about. I'm meaning like, what are the things on your list that you need to knock off? So typically, general wisdom for like productivity is 3 to 6 big things. And then there's a bunch of like errands, tasks, things, chores that we'll all do as well. But we don't count a bunch of those. So we think that they're free. They're not. They take energy, they take thought, they take structure, they take time. And so then we have this endless list of things to accomplish, which is completely unrealistic. And very rarely, genuinely tell me, if you are watching this right now, do you build into your daily to-do list, into your schedule, time to chill out, time to relax? Like maybe you put time for lunch. How long do you actually give yourself for lunch? What do you do on your lunch break? Do you just eat lunch? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I hope you do, but do you sit and read a book? Do you go outside? Do you go for a little, like, no, you probably don't. Why? Because you have so many things to do. We have so many things pulling our attention. And I am aging myself here, which I have no problem with. I'll be 43 next month. But what that means is I remember life before email. I remember life before social media. And to be fair, I was like 19 when I first got the internet, so I'm going to admit that there was a different time in my life as well, but I had a lot fewer things pulling on my attention. And now, I mean, at the time, I had a job, I had school I was studying for, I was managing both of those things against themselves. I had a social life, I was feeding myself, paying rent, doing all these things. So those are a lot of the same things I do in my life now. right? But you weren't barraged constantly with stuff. And so even in my own lifetime, I have seen an increase in like being on, being efficient, being productive, just constantly needing to be somewhere, do something. And um, these days, it's just there's always something pulling your attention. And even if you're zoning out, how often are you zoning out like this? Let's be honest, it's a lot, right? It's a lot for me. I'm horrified by it. And so consider that we lump this all into laziness. And it's not laziness. It's not laziness to enjoy leisure. It's not laziness to give yourself time to daydream. In fact, daydreaming, also known as mind wandering, is a hugely important part of problem solving and allowing yourself to be with yourself, to process what's going on in your life and how you feel, right? To heal. Our lives are a constant journey of healing ourselves. And if you have no time for that, well, it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. Guys, that's my dog on the windowsill that he really doesn't fit in. Look, I mean, he does fit, obviously, or he wouldn't be doing it. Hey, buddy, is it hot? Is that a hot spot? Grimby, hey. He's hilarious. Again, this dog has no problem taking breaks and resting and being like lazy and leisurely. So one thing, I totally distracted myself because I felt like you needed to see this, but oh yeah, yeah, on and off. And so when it comes to being lazy, our like story about it, first of all, think about where you heard it. You didn't come up with it on your own. I'm sure that you heard it from your parents. And like I said, they heard it from theirs and on for all of time. Um, and even though we have a lot more things pulling at our attention, and I'm sure you do have an endless list of things to do, me too. Again, it's a good sign. It means we've still got time. We're alive, we're breathing, we're earth side, not soil side. Um, it's really important to give ourselves time to just be. We're not just here to work and then die. Work, pay bills, and die. We're not. And so spending some downtime, giving yourself space to relax and enjoy life, or just even be with life and process it, is super important. And in order to do that, we need to have boundaries around what is on and what is off. What I think is we are on almost all of the time, and then we steal moments. We steal moments with our devices. You might feel, people feel like they're stealing time to go and exercise. It's genuinely required for your body, for being alive. We feel like we're taking time when we scarf our meals really quickly, right? Like it's literally the essential parts of being alive we might feel like we don't have time for. And so it's really important that we examine what our boundaries are about being on and being off. And if you notice, and I'm so bad for this, I'm my expectation generally based on my lists and what I expect myself to accomplish in a day would require that I be on 100% of the time. And no one is on 100% of the time. So if I'm expecting myself to be, oh my God, look at that cute little face. It's hot, isn't it, buddy? That's the face of a dog who's really enjoying himself. Why are they so cute? So cute. If I'm on all the time, I am going to sabotage myself. I am not going to get stuff done because I need a break and I will waste time. I'll numb out, right? So this is what happens is when we are going all the time and we have no structure in place for ourselves to have a genuine opportunity to rewind or unwind, relax, recover, what the time that you steal to be off will not be good for you. It will likely be, maybe there's nothing wrong with a video game if you're being intentional about it and it is a way for you to unwind, but generally speaking, what you're seeing more and more is us jamming on these, right? So we need to be really conscientious. We need to actually know what is on and what is off. We need to account for off days. And Brian, I love that you give yourself free days. And if you don't give yourself a free day, you burn out. One weekend a month is a no plans weekend. These are great structures. And where in your day to day is a free moment? Where is built into your day-to-day life just time to be, just time to chill, to drink a leisurely cup of coffee feeling the sun on your skin. You probably don't account for it. I don't account for it. We steal these moments and we enjoy them and they're like a little treat. And they are. But what if we actually incorporated them in, slow down to speed up? And so I think the other thing to do, in addition to getting more intentional about how we structure on and off, and again, remember, if you're always on, be honest with yourself. Write out a schedule for this coming week, daily or weekly. Like, when are you on and when are you off? Be really honest. And then track it during the week. Track it. See what is, I don't think you will like what you see. I have done this exercise and it was not super surprising. Oh, now it's time. It's too hot. Oh God, this guy's, he's collapsed, groaning. So um track it and just see, where do you actually give yourself time off? And I see this in myself all the time. I'm a driven person by nature. Most of my people generally are the same as me. So that means like either we're driven, we've got a lot of expectations, we've got things we want to do, things we need to do. And I can see this in my work for sure, or things around the home, but I can be like this about like seasons too. So it's summer, and I know things that I would love to be intentional about, which is paddleboarding, kayaking, going outside, going for a swim. Entire summers will pass and I won't swim once. I am on an island. I am very close to water. I'm on the skinniest part of the island. There's water 5 minutes from me in both directions. And a lake, a massive lake right there. There are many ways I can go swim and be in water, and yet I won't take the time. And that is because I haven't been intentional about being off and then actually deciding, what am I going to do with that off time? And it's fine if my off time means I'm going to lay on this couch and stare at the ceiling. It's fine if my off time is lay on that couch and watch the TV. It's totally fine, except that I don't know about you, but when I steal that off time, I'm just going to watch one show. It's not one show, is it? Because it just feeds into the next, the next, the next. And so I think it's really important to be intentional, because this time's going to shoot by us. And if we're not paying attention to when we're on or when we're off, then we're always on. We're likely going to burn out, or you'll have resentment. You're creating an experience of life that you have to have a weekend to recover from. You can do that. That's a way to live. But is it a good way? Is it the way you want? And here's the other part. Here's the other thing that I think is really important. Let's stop berating ourselves and other people for being lazy. Let's stop. Let's stop. Just because someone didn't put their laundry away or make their bed, or like, what if we didn't immediately lump that in and say, you're being so lazy? What if we didn't attach a bunch of morality to what someone does or doesn't do? Because why? What purpose is it serving? Is it helping? I don't really think that it is. So what if we change the story? There are times where, you can be lazy again if you change the relationship to it. Like if you are going to have a lazy day and you can empower lazy and just be like, oh, lazy for me means I might take the dog. We're going to go float at the beach. I'm going to lay in the backyard in the sun. The way I'm going to spend this day is I'm going to like really enjoy every delicious moment of the lazy river of this day. Awesome. Like why does, a moment or an hour or a day or a weekend in which you're doing nothing have to be laden with this idea that you should be doing something else? It is not, nothing in nature grows at the same rate all the time. And you and I are nature. So why are we expecting ourselves to just be consistent, persistent, and hustle and grind all the time, be productive all the time? For what? For what? What's it getting you? I mean, why would you Why would we work so hard? Ostensibly so you can live a good life. Are you living a good life so you can just burn yourself out every single minute? And almost everyone I know, as they move through their lives, and typically people's trajectory is upwards, probably not as quickly as they might like, but generally speaking, if you're on your path, you're moving upwards in your life. You're creating more, you experience likely, not always the case, but theoretically you probably experience a version of life that 10 years ago you might have enjoyed, like you dreamed of. But are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying where you are? Are you giving yourself time to enjoy it? Or are you just head down, perpetually looking at the mountain beyond the horizon, the mountain past the one you're already on? So it's just a constant, continual uphill grind. Or are you able to stop and take a look around? Notice that where you are in this mountain has a valley, there's a river, there's a lake, you can cool your feet, there's wildflowers. You can take some time to enjoy the space. That's not lazy, that's living, right? So let's change the way we define laziness. And let's not use it when we're talking about time off, when we're talking about relaxing, recovering. Recovery is needed. It's totally needed. Go outside, look at flowers. They close up at night. It's okay for you to be off too. And so changing the way that we relate to our leisure time so that it isn't stolen, so that it isn't, we're not judging any moment that we're not being productive, that we're not checking stuff off of a literally unending list. And then practice being really clear when you're on and when you're off. And I do mean it goes both ways. So one, don't if you're it's no good to be on all the time. It's also not healthy to be off all the time either. Right? So if you're going to give yourself a break, you want to watch a show, watch a show. Watch a show. Stop it before it goes to the next one. You're going to go sit for 20, 30 minutes? Go sit for 20, 30 minutes. And honor the endpoint. Because I think what happens is, because we burn ourselves out, we don't honor the rest and space that we need. So then when we finally do take a break, we're literally burnt out and we're just like comatose. I was going to take a 20-minute nap and I slept for 4 hours. Have you had that happen? You probably have. And so what is happening there, like when you watch I'm literally talking about myself this weekend, I watched a lot of, I really like The Mentalist, and I didn't realize there were more seasons of it. So, I was watching it. There was no one else here. It was easy enough for it just meant move to the next episode. And then after like some ungodly amount, the TV will actually kind of stop and check in to see if you're still alive and be like, are you still watching? And you're like, don't judge me. And then you hit yes. You know what I mean? You knew that too, right? So, just as I'm saying, it's really important to honor and structure off time into your on time. It's also important to honor the structure of the off. So if you're giving yourself a 20-minute walk around the block, take a 20-minute walk around the block. If you're going to sit and watch a TV show, sit and watch a TV show. Don't let it turn into 4. Because what's happening is you're breaking your word to yourself. And then you're no longer trustworthy to yourself. And then it's much easier if we're breaking our trust in ourselves, it's much easier to fall into negative, pattern thinking about how lazy we are, what a bad person I am, what other ways am I terrible? I'm already untrustworthy, now I'm lazy. Oh, la, la, and then down you go. So there's no point if taking a break means that you lay a whole bunch of negative, shitty thoughts on yourself. Was the break worth it? Probably not. So what we want to do is have it really clear when we are on, when we are being productive, when we're doing what there is to be done, realistically, structuring rest and recovery in the midst of it, just like an athlete. Athletes have rest and recovery every day. Then they have rest days. Then they have rest weeks. Then they have seasons, right? So we need to treat ourselves the same way. And then we need to speak kindly and sweetly to ourselves. Be pleased with what you accomplished. Did you accomplish 3 to 6 things? If you wrote down in a day everything you did, you would be literally astounded at how much you're handling. Simultaneously, you would still think, God, I didn't get to enough stuff. We're impossible to please, right? We're impossible to please. That's okay. But just start practicing speaking sweetly to yourself because, quite frankly, you've spoken meanly to yourself. And has it worked? Like maybe in the short term, it got you to go do a thing. Did you enjoy it? Do you feel better? Is your life improved? Probably not. So, unless you can redefine laziness with something that is meaningful and wonderful to you, like if I watched a butterfly float lazily, am I thinking that that butterfly is shirking its duties? No. So only if I'm going to relate to my own laziness, like the butterfly or the river, am I going to use the term lazy. And just for the record, in my morning writing exercise, every day where I'm clearing out what there is and what it means, 9 times out of 10, whatever my complaint or concern or whatever is that I'm writing down, underneath where I write what it means about me, what I write is that I'm lazy, that I'm a failure, that I'm not good enough. That's what happens when we buy into the story that any downtime is laziness, that being supremely efficient and productive 120% of the time, anything less than that is lazy, immoral. It's bullshit. Let's not buy into it. We're here to live our lives and we can live a beautiful life if we let ourselves. So that's it for today, Brian. Thanks for being here. It's always such a treat for me when you're here. I love chatting with you. Gosh, I've known you for like a shocking amount of my life. So thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing. Um, I know there's been quite a few other people here in and out. Been a little secretive, a little less chitty chatty. But if you have thoughts about this, if you can relate, if you have questions about it, where do you struggle with laziness? Where do you struggle with productivity? Where do you struggle with your to-do list and your expectations? Where do you struggle with honoring on and off time, structure, accountability? Tell me, tell me, tell me. I will talk about this stuff forever. I love it. I will answer your questions. We will problem solve this. This is what I do and I love it. So let me know. Andrea, you were here. Hello. So nice to see you. I'm just about to sign off, but it's really lovely to see you. Um, yeah, let me know. Let me know how all this stuff lands for you. And I hope you have an amazing, wonderful, and magical week. And I will talk to you soon. Ciao.